every single cashew you have ever eaten was touched by human hands. Not once, not twice, but dozens of times before it ever reached your mouth. And here is something even stranger. The cashew is not actually a nut at all. It is a seed that grows on the bottom of a fruit, completely exposed to the open air. This is the cashew apple. And dangling beneath it like a strange afterthought is what we call the cashew nut. But getting from this tree to your snack bowl is one of the most complex journeys in the entire food industry. Welcome to a modern cashew processing facility, where ancient techniques meet cutting-edge technology, and where every single step must be executed with precision to avoid disaster. The story of the cashew begins in places like Vietnam, India, and the Ivory Coast. These three countries alone produce over 60% of the world's cashew supply. But here is what makes cashews so fascinating. Unlike almonds or walnuts that grow safely tucked inside protective shells, the cashew hangs completely exposed beneath its fruit. The cashew apple itself is edible and incredibly juicy. In Brazil, it is used to make juice, wine, and even a spirit called feni, but it spoils within 24 hours of being picked. This is why you have never seen a fresh cashew apple in your grocery store. By the time it could be shipped anywhere, it would already be rotting. So the apple stays behind while only the nut travels. When the raw cashews arrive at the processing facility, they look nothing like what you would recognize. They are gray, kidney-shaped, and encased in a hard double shell that contains a dangerous secret. Between the outer shell and the inner shell is a thick, oily liquid called cashew nutshell liquid, or CNSL. This substance is so caustic, it can cause severe chemical burns on contact with skin. This is why you will never find cashews sold in their shells at the store. Every other nut you can crack at home, but cracking a raw cashew without protection would send you to the hospital. The cashew nutshell liquid is actually related to the oil found in poison ivy. Same family of plants, same burning irritation. This is why processing cashews requires such careful handling. But here's the twist. That same caustic oil that makes cashews dangerous to process is actually incredibly valuable. It is used to make brake linings, paints, and waterproof coatings. The first step inside the factory is sorting. Raw cashews arrive in massive burlap sacks, each containing hundreds of pounds of unprocessed nuts from the farms. Workers empty these sacks onto conveyor belts where the initial inspection begins. They are looking for stones, twigs, and any cashews that are obviously damaged or moldy. Even at this early stage, you can see the incredible variation in cashew sizes. Some are tiny, others are nearly twice as large. Size matters enormously in the cashew business. The largest cashews, called W180, are the most valuable. The number refers to how many cashew kernels fit in 1 pound. Fewer kernels means bigger nuts means higher prices. After initial sorting, the raw cashews move to the conditioning phase. They need to be prepared for the incredibly difficult task of shell removal that lies ahead. The cashews are soaked in water for up to 48 hours. This moisture treatment softens the shell slightly and makes the dangerous oil inside less volatile and easier to handle. But soaking alone is not enough. The real transformation happens in the roasting drums, where temperatures reach over 300 degrees and the shells finally begin to crack. As the shells heat up, something incredible happens. The caustic oil inside begins to boil and release. You can actually see it bubbling out of the shells in dark, acrid streams. This released oil is carefully collected. Nothing in the cashew industry goes to waste. That dangerous liquid becomes valuable industrial material, while the shells become charcoal for fuel. The roasted cashews emerge from the drums transformed. Their shells are now brittle and cracked, ready for the most labor-intensive part of the entire process, the shelling. Even after roasting, trace amounts of that caustic oil remain in the shells. This is why shelling workers must wear protective gloves and work with extreme care. In traditional facilities, skilled workers crack each cashew by hand, using small hammers or specialized cutting tools. It takes years to develop the speed and precision required. The goal is to remove the kernel completely intact. A broken cashew is worth far less than a whole one, so every crack must be perfectly placed and perfectly controlled. In modern facilities like this one, automated shelling machines have taken over much of this work. These machines can process thousands of cashews per hour with remarkable precision. But even the best machines cannot match human judgment. Every shelled cashew still passes through human inspection, where damaged or incomplete kernels are removed. The freshly shelled cashews have another obstacle to overcome. They are still covered in a thin, papery skin called the testa. This reddish-brown coating must be removed. The cashews enter drying ovens, where low heat over many hours makes this skin brittle and easy to remove. Temperature control is critical because too much heat will damage the delicate kernel inside. After drying, the peeling process begins. In some facilities, this is done by machine using gentle friction to rub away the skin without damaging the cashew underneath. But many cashews still require hand peeling, especially the premium grades. Workers use their fingernails or small knives to carefully remove every trace of the brown testa. This is where you start to see the cashews you recognize, pale, creamy white, curved like a kidney bean. But they are still raw and have not yet developed their characteristic flavor. Now comes the grading process, one of the most important steps in determining how much each cashew is worth. Size and wholeness are everything in this industry. 180 cashews, the largest whole kernels, can sell for 3 times the price of broken pieces from the same batch. A single crack can cut a cashew's value by more than half. Automated sorting machines use cameras and air jets to separate cashews by size and quality at incredible speeds. Thousands of individual decisions are made every minute, but human graders still provide the final quality control. Their trained eyes catch imperfections that machines might miss, ensuring only the best cashews make it to packaging. The graded cashews are now ready for their transformation from raw ingredient to finished product. This is where flavor is born. Unlike the first roasting, which was about removing the shell, this second roasting is all about taste. Carefully controlled heat unlocks the oils inside each kernel, creating that rich, buttery flavor. The roasting temperature is typically between 270 and 300 degrees. Too hot and the cashews burn. Too cool and they remain bland. Precision is everything. As the cashews roast, their color shifts from pale white to golden brown. This visual transformation is one of the key indicators that the roasting is progressing correctly. The aroma that fills the facility during roasting is unmistakable. Rich, nutty, slightly sweet. Workers describe it as one of the best smells in the entire food industry. Once roasted, the cashews must cool quickly to stop the cooking process. Fans and cooling conveyors bring the temperature down before the cashews can overcook from residual heat. For salted cashews, the seasoning happens immediately after roasting, while the nuts are still warm. This allows the salt to adhere evenly to the oily surface. Modern facilities offer dozens of flavor varieties: honey roasted, sriracha, garlic herb, maple bacon. Each requires its own precise recipe and application method. The seasoned cashews tumble through large coating drums that ensure every single nut receives an even distribution of flavor. Consistency is crucial for customer satisfaction. Quality control continues even at this stage. Trained tasters sample cashews from every batch, checking for flavor balance, roast level, and overall quality. Any batch that does not meet the facility's standards is set aside for reprocessing or diverted to lower-grade product lines. Nothing substandard reaches the premium packaging. The approved cashews now flow toward the packaging area, where they will finally be sealed away from air and moisture for their journey to store shelves around the world. Packaging technology has evolved dramatically over the decades. Modern machines can fill, seal, and label hundreds of containers per minute with perfect accuracy. Nitrogen flushing is a key part of premium cashew packaging. The nitrogen displaces oxygen in the container, preventing the oils in the cashews from going rancid. Without this nitrogen protection, cashews would begin to spoil within weeks. With it, they can remain fresh for months or even years on store shelves. The sealed containers pass through metal detectors and X-ray machines. These safety systems scan for any foreign objects that might have accidentally entered during processing. Every package is weighed electronically. Underweight packages are automatically rejected, ensuring customers always receive the full amount they paid for. Labeling machines apply product information, nutritional facts, and batch codes. These codes allow any package to be traced back to the exact day and even hour it was produced. The finished packages are collected into cases and stacked onto pallets. Each pallet holds hundreds of individual units, ready for distribution. Modern warehousing uses computerized inventory systems that track every pallet's location in real time. The warehouse knows exactly where every case of cashews is stored. Temperature and humidity are carefully controlled throughout the warehouse. Cashews are sensitive to environmental conditions, and improper storage can ruin an entire shipment. When orders come in, warehouse workers pull the requested pallets and load them onto trucks. Within hours, cashews that were packaged that morning can be on their way across the country. The global cashew industry moves over 4 million metric tons of nuts every year. From small farms in West Africa, to factories in Asia, to grocery stores everywhere. But let us go back to where we started. To those human hands that touch every single cashew. This industry employs millions of workers worldwide. In countries like Vietnam and India, Cashew processing provides essential income for rural communities. Entire villages depend on the cashew harvest season. The work is demanding and requires incredible skill. Shellers who have worked for decades can crack and extract kernels faster than any machine while keeping them perfectly whole. Training new workers takes months. They must learn not only the physical techniques, but also how to identify quality issues that could affect the final product. Safety training is equally important. Workers must understand the dangers of the caustic shell liquid and how to protect themselves throughout the shelling process. Despite mechanization, the cashew industry remains one of the most labor-intensive in the entire food sector. Human judgment simply cannot be fully replaced. The economics of cashew processing are fascinating. The shell, which was once considered waste, now generates significant revenue through its industrial applications. Cashew nut shell liquid is used in everything from automotive parts to pharmaceutical coatings. Some facilities earn as much from the oil as they do from the nuts themselves. Even the shells after the oil is extracted are not wasted. They are burned as biomass fuel to power the very factories that process the nuts. Nothing is thrown away. The cashew apple, remember that fruit we left behind at the beginning? In producing countries, it is used to make juice, jam, and even alcohol. Local markets treasure it. This zero-waste approach makes the cashew one of the most efficiently utilized crops in the world. Every single part of the plant serves a purpose. Quality in the cashew industry is measured by something called the kernel outturn ratio. This measures how much edible cashew is recovered from every pound of raw nuts. A typical outturn is around 22 to 25%. That means it takes roughly 4 pounds of raw cashews to produce just 1 pound of the kernels you eat. This ratio explains why cashews are so expensive compared to other nuts. The processing is complex, the yield is low, and the labor requirements are enormous. Premium facilities invest heavily in technology to improve their outturn ratios. Even a 1% improvement can translate into millions of dollars in additional revenue. The cashew market has grown dramatically over the past 2 decades. Global demand has more than doubled as consumers discover the health benefits of these remarkable nuts. Cashews are rich in healthy fats, protein, and essential minerals. They contain more iron than any other nut and are an excellent source of magnesium and zinc. The rise of plant-based diets has further boosted demand. Cashew cream and cashew cheese have become staples for vegans and those avoiding dairy. Cashew butter has emerged as a premium alternative to peanut butter. Its smooth texture and mild flavor make it ideal for baking and cooking applications. These value-added products command even higher prices than whole cashews. A facility that once only sold nuts now produces dozens of different cashew-based products. The journey from tree to table typically takes between 2 and 4 weeks. That includes harvesting, transportation to the facility, processing, and packaging. During peak harvest season, facilities run around the clock. 3 shifts of workers keep the machines running 24 hours a day to process the incoming crop. The pressure during harvest is intense. Raw cashews must be processed quickly before they can spoil or develop mold. Every hour of delay risks the quality of the final product. Climate change is beginning to affect cashew production worldwide. Shifting rainfall patterns and rising temperatures are disrupting traditional growing regions. Some facilities are investing in more drought-resistant cashew varieties. Others are exploring new growing regions that may become suitable as traditional areas become too hot or dry. Sustainability has become a major focus for the industry. Many facilities now use solar panels and biomass energy to reduce their environmental footprint. Water recycling systems clean and reuse the water from soaking and processing. A modern facility uses a fraction of the water that older plants required. Certification programs like fair trade and organic labeling have created new market segments. Consumers increasingly want to know their cashews were produced ethically. These certifications require rigorous auditing and documentation. Every step of the process must be traceable back to the original farms where the cashews were grown. The paperwork is as important as the processing. Mountains of documentation track every batch from farm gate to shipping container. Food safety regulations have tightened significantly in recent years. Facilities must meet standards set by importing countries, which often have stricter requirements than local laws. Regular testing checks for contamination, aflatoxins, and other potential hazards. Laboratory analysis is performed on samples from every single production batch. Any batch that fails testing is quarantined immediately. The source is investigated and corrective actions are taken before production can resume. This rigorous approach to safety has made commercially processed cashews remarkably safe. Contamination incidents are rare despite the complex handling involved. As we reach the end of our journey through this facility, let us appreciate the remarkable transformation we have witnessed. What began as a strange fruit hanging from a tree in a tropical orchard has become a perfectly roasted, golden, delicious cashew, ready for your enjoyment. Every step required precision, care, and expertise. From handling the dangerous shells to achieving the perfect roast to ensuring absolute safety in every package. The next time you reach for a handful of cashews, remember all the hands that made it possible. The farmers, the processors, the quality controllers, the packagers. Each one playing their essential role in bringing you one of nature's most delicious and most difficult nuts to produce. From raw fruit to roasted perfection, this is how cashews are made.